Good morning, Bitcoin truth seekers and NASDAQ truth seekers. I'm just logging into some things here real quick. Sorry to have a little bit of a delay here in the action, but we'll be on in just a second. Robert will be coming along pretty soon. I pinged him kind of late. That's all my fault. I did it. Let's see, 341. I'll log into Blockchain Education here, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, so logging in. That's not very entertaining, I'm sure. We'll see if it actually logs in. All right, so everybody, BitcoinDailyView.com, got more for you there. Got indicators and things like that. I need to do some updates there. The template that we use have to update, etc., and do some things. But go there. The things that we talked about, the indicators that we use, etc., are there. So I'll be updating it over the weekend to be more valid. Market's not open yet, but yesterday was definitely a bit of a downwards day. All right, now Robert's here. All right. Robert is here. And so yesterday was a bit of a downward spiral for sure. I'm sure that Robert did quite well, but definitely the market closed in the red yesterday, and it was one of those days where it didn't really go up and down. It just kind of went down. So how was yesterday's market, Robert?
Well, I'll tell you, Craig, I kind of pretty much stayed out of the market because I didn't catch the top when it rolled over and started going down massively. And I just happened to be distracted when the market kind of turned around and did another, 500 and some points to the upside.
Ooh, that is
so
massive.
Since I didn't catch those tops or bottoms, I just stayed out and watched it. The thing to remember is all the data that you see just kind of goes into your mind and collects, and you store it up for later. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, patience is really an important thing, and I like that. NASDAQ, this trading really helps because I have confidence in it going up and going down, eventually rallying each direction. Where crypto does the same thing, but I find that the predictable, maybe you may not hit it exactly the top or exactly the bottom, but you can kind of have a little more confidence in gold, silver, NASDAQ, etc. The future is like, you're going to get your chance to get in. You just got to be patient sometimes, where like Bitcoin can just, it can just keep doing new lows for 2 years,
Yeah.
So, which is fine. You can short that too. But anyway, I like them both. But just looking at Bitcoin this morning, I know the market's about to open in 2 minutes, but Bitcoin, it kind of is a 15-minute chart. It is above a previous higher high, or a previous high. It's starting to perk up a little bit. Indicators look okay. It's very sideways. I don't know what it's going to do today, but it's on the more positive side of more on the positive side than the poopy side. And yeah, looking at the NASDAQ this morning, it looks like it's getting below the 5 and the 10 moving average. It's still above the 75. Indicators that we use are kind of a little bit flaccid looking. So I'm not really sensing a lot of energons as the NASDAQ gets ready to open. I'll unshare my screen so you can share yours because you are the NASDAQ master. I'll share my screen. Robert's got a slight distraction there for a sec. Oh, Robert's back. Oh, I don't hear Robert though. Wait, is that me or is that him? Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, okay. Robert is muted. Okay. Let me actually just look at some things while Robert is doing that. Let me share my screen again. Bonk. Oh, there's Robert.
Yeah, sorry about that. Got a call from my daughter.
Oh, that's okay. Gotta first things first,
Yeah, she's I'm trying to teach her how to trade futures, and she's gonna wait till Monday because she's really tired.
Oh, I understand. Tired too.
When you're young, you're tired.
I know. You're like a puppy,
Yeah.
like play mode, and then you just flop over,
Yeah, play hard and sleep harder.
Yeah, sleep harder. Well, yeah. If you want, go ahead and share your screen because you are the NASDAQ master. But I was just looking at it here, and you can see on the 15-minute chart, you can definitely see it. Is it going to go down there and test the 75? I mean, we're not seeing a lot of. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Are we seeing any Oh my goodness. So market opens with a, you know,
Drop.
definitely NASDAQ going towards the downside. Sorry, anybody who was long. It didn't work out, but woo. that's
Yeah,
that's a brutal
considerable drop.
NASDAQ open.
Now, what we have forward, what we have to look forward to now is when you get a drop like this right off the New York Open, you just basically wait until the price starts to run, and you have to make sure that on a little bit longer time frames, like say 5 minute or so, that it looks bullish. Then you use a short time frame, like say 1 minute or 2 minute, to get in. And to me, the indicators are not really there yet.
Yeah.
So I would wait on this a bit more. Because one thing you don't want to do is just go long automatically at the New York Open, because in this bullish market that we've had on NASDAQ over the last, say, 10 to 14 days, they're likely to drop the price. Because if you look at what happened from, say, 5 p.m. Pacific time last night until about 1:30 in the morning, the price just went up. It was going up half the night. So let's see, when was the bottom? The bottom was actually, of course, Top Step closes 1 p.m., which is 3 p.m. Central Time. And then after the market opened at 5 p.m. Central, it basically just started going up. And the top was actually 5:30 a.m., where there was some announcement that caused volatility to the upside at first, and then it kind of did a small pump and dump. So it's following through on that very slightly bullish announcement. It was just real minor, but it's also mainly following through on the fact that it went up all night, and it needs to get back down to a decent level of being somewhat oversold, and then I think the bulls are going to start buying it. Or we could just end up in a more downtrending for a good portion of the day. Hard to say. I mean,
yeah, definitely. The market open doesn't always give it to you. A lot of times I'm noticing the market open is a bit of a question mark, and maybe that's a good thing, because it helps you just be patient, because sometimes when it opens and it just pumps, you go, oh man, oh gosh, I sure wish I was in there. But oftentimes it dumps, or it's just indecisive. So yeah, it is that little bit of patience. If you can wait 20 minutes, right, you might find yourself just making a great trade, getting in.
well, one thing I always try to tell everybody is, and this includes, I'm telling myself this, is that you got to really learn how to short. Because I came from a spot market. I had years trading crypto and spot, and when you get locked into it's got to go up and I'm going to make money. When you get locked into that bullish mindset, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to really master the shorting, because it's like learning how to write with your left hand if you're right-handed. It's just it's awkward at first. But I'll
Yeah,
tell you, the shorts have been getting paid.
I know. And I think maybe that's something, maybe some traders start out long and shorting, and that's understandable, but I think, yeah, a lot, especially if you're from the spot market, and the way our minds tend to work, we mostly long, or we just, buy and sell. So yeah, getting into that short mentality, I think it is just like doing something awkward that then becomes just natural, and then you don't feel odd. It's just sort of like, reality's moving backwards from what you're used to, and it's yeah, I find it challenging too, but it's a discipline. I just kind of force myself to do it, when it makes sense.
Yeah, just force yourself to be ambidextrous when it comes to
Yes.
long and shorting, and that's it. Just practice.
Oh, that.
On Top
Yeah.
Step, I don't know much about Apex, so that's why I always talk about Top Step, because it's all I know as far as prop firms because I have experience with them. But they do offer a practice account, which is not graded. You can play with it. If you bust the account, you just go make a new one.
Yeah.
Push a button. That's it. You got a new 150K account with, let's see, $4,500 in drawdown. So you can lose $4,500 on the practice account before you have to just make a new one for free.
Yeah.
So
you
get the
can be,
screen time, practice, study to see what type of setups are out there, what's what, look at some indicators. I like the setup that I have as far as indicators because I've worked with this for a while and I know it works. But there are other ways to do it, like Bookmap, and Fibonacci works in some instances pretty well. ATR zone, that works. There's a lot of things that work. But what I'm saying is just put a group of indicators together that suits your style, that you can test and see if it works using a practice account, and go for it.
yeah,
Start
you
getting
can
the
be,
screen time in.
yeah, you can be just like an ultra wealthy globalist's kid. Here's 150K to trade with. If you blow it, we'll just give you a notice. You can just start again.
Below the $1 million kid. Just
That's all
consider
right.
one experience. We'll give you another $1 million.
Just keep trying. Just and if we look at the 5-minute, it is starting to find its bounce point, or at least it's starting to reverse on the 5-minute. We're seeing a little bit of a push back up. Bam! It's all about is that going to be a real one? Let's see. And then you move into the
the 30. Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
my voice is kind of waking up. The 30-minute to me still looks bearish. So I also do use 30-minute as a general directional finder for NQ. Just even though it's a pretty long time frame due to the fact that the markets are only open a finite number of hours, but it will give you a gauge on, where you kind of need to go. Now I have seen indicators just completely turn around, have the short time frames just take over, and maybe the stochastic is like a third of the way down, like it's already rolled over, and then it just rolls back up. I've seen that happen too. So, but as a general rule, I would say 80% of the time, the 30-minute indicators are going to show you where it's going. And if you look at, the Trendillo is rolled over on the 30-minute, the stochastic is rolled over, the squeeze is fading green, and the MACD has painted 3 bear signals on the 30-minute. So what does that tell you? It says it's going down.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's always good to, work your different time frames in and how they all have that relevance. Like the 5-minute is a great view. I like the 15-minute, but then also, like you're saying, the 30-minute. And you kind of have to weight them all because you kind of have to look at all those time frames to see the real story of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I could have traded this 1-minute setup, which was really good a few minutes ago, but with kind of the directional longer term downtrend, I just didn't think it would have a lot of power. So I'm kind of looking for bigger setups today. And see, it does stuff like this too. It'll go up and then it gets overbought on a really short time frame, like almost guarantee a 15-second is overbought. Yeah, it rolled over on the 15-second. Started losing buying momentum on the squeeze. And down it goes.
Boom. And in the just because I was watching it this morning, for anybody who has interest in, well, it's the economy, it's real estate, it's a lot of things, but this was kind of real estate focused. I put in the live chat, I put it just says all hell breaks loose in the next few months as Fed insider Daniela DiMartino talks about stuff. Anyway, she's kind of like, she was definitely in the deep, like dark places in the world of finance. And but she kind of like wrote a book like Fed Up, I think it was called. And anyway, she was, you could say, like a deep state or whatever you want to call it. Like she was in the dark crevices of the Fed and stuff like that. But she has a tremendous insight on things. And anyway, she was just talking about, it's like an hour podcast. But if anyone has interest in just what's going on with like both commercial real estate and then like residential and stuff like that, and it was just interesting if one has, because I do think that's a real indicator, and I need to start looking at those. I just don't remember what the tickers were, the big commercial real estate companies, because there's a lot. I mean, almost any analyst that I know I trust over the years really is looking at that kind of commercial real estate dump this year or in the next few months and stuff. It's not even a doomer thing. It's just that, being market people, we want to watch those things, and even though we play much shorter time frames and such, it's going to be interesting, I think, in the next year or so. Like here in Phoenix, we have tremendous amount of houses that were built. Like 1/3 of the houses on the market are new, but we don't really have the continued influx of people here, and there is kind of like that. You can call it a recession whenever you want. We do have the hyperinflation aspect. I mean, and so there is, I find real estate kind of boring, but it's kind of gets interesting when you're in these like catastrophic moments.
Yeah.
You got all these houses on the market, but there's nobody to buy them, and ultimately they made all these houses, but that starts to, in a weaker economy, push the house prices down. So you have this, are they even going to finish I wonder if like the state is going to end up buying a lot of these buildings and homes and then use them for like, I don't know, maybe low cost housing or something, because if they put all this glut of new stuff on the market, it's going to kill the housing market. And so it's like, anyway, not to go on about it. I know we're here for the NASDAQ, but big picture, it's never been a better time to create your own wealth, because
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, and what better way to create your own wealth than by using other people's money? That's what the big banks and the globalists do. So why not just give a small amount of money to a prop firm, one that you can trust, and start trading other people's money instead of your own.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to mention about the housing market is during COVID, BlackRock and friends very quietly bought up billions and billions of dollars worth of real estate. So in a lot of those homes, in fact, all of those homes that they bought will never enter into the purchase market again. So they won't be homes that are ever for sale. Those are for lease. Ooh. So basically, that captured a good amount of the supply, which acts as a barrier to keep the prices up, even when there's kind of a surplus of housing in some areas, homes for sale. So this is the mechanism that they use to keep the prices high, because they, of course, are greedy. And those who have all the power and all the money want more power and more money. That's just the bottom line. So if you're wondering why the prices don't go down when there's a lot of homes for sale in some areas, it's because of the overall nationwide housing shortage. And in turn, that holds up the prices of apartments, which are basically temporary dwellings, and BlackRock owns a lot of those companies as well.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. And that's one of the nice things is if you look at today versus, even like, 2-3 years ago, whatever, like what you're saying now is like mainstream now. You know what I mean? As in like people's consciousness, they're actually thinking of these things and they know these names, where we've been like alternative news, warriors for a long time, but like the normies are catching up now.
Yeah.
Now things are just standard, water cooler chat that didn't even exist 5 years ago or 3 years ago, you know. Um, oh yeah, I thought I'd mention there are some interesting looking things. Like we're watching this guy here. I'll stick this on the stage real quick. Looking at some of these other things, we've got like gold futures this morning, looking at a 15, but definitely challenging. It got over the last high. It's challenging a previous high. Indicators don't look too bad on the 15. So like gold is perking up a little bit this morning. How about silver? Silver, no, it's light crude oil. Silver futures on the 15. You know what? Indecisive, not too exciting. But how about Nvidia? Nvidia, I would say, a little indecisive there. Hasn't really figured out what it wants to do. Microsoft giving a little push. How about Apple? Apple, not looking too great. So, Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft, those aren't really showing a powerful move yet either. And I always kind of like to look at those just as a little bit of a of a of a barometer, and
Yeah.
then what else? But the Dow Jones, like the E-mini futures, the Dow Jones, the $5 futures. Woo! Dow Jones it showed up for work today. It's on fire. It's getting ready to challenge. Actually, I think it did challenge and probably is going to pass the last previous high. So Dow Jones definitely showing up for work today. But NASDAQ, it's still dumping.
Yeah, the NASDAQ often will diverge from the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 right now is doing very similar things that the NASDAQ is, but the Dow Jones is just slamming to the upside. I have a feeling that it will break out above this last high to some degree before it rolls over, just because stochastic looks really, really good, and it's done a strong reversal in the 15 minutes. So, I mean, I wouldn't FOMO in here, but it does look like it's going to go higher before it rolls over. So anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, and one of my little favorites is actually doing quite well this morning. Let me look at that one. Yeah. I'll just share real quick. So it's the Russell 2000, 15-minute boom,
Yeah.
opened with a gap. And that thing is like a rocket ship to Pluto this morning. Russell is and like I've mentioned before, I always see the Russell as sort of like it reacts quicker, and I tend to, just as one of the many things that look at to get an idea which way things are going, it tends to react quicker and more violently than like the NASDAQ or many other things, a lot of the other indexes. But if it's pushing this strong off the gate, it kind of gives me a little bit of a thought that the NASDAQ futures will probably follow the same. Just one of the many data points.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. So we are getting some choppy action in the NASDAQ. It chops up, chops down. These are pretty considerable swings, at $5 a tick on the mini. So, but we do continue to chop downwards. Where this is going,
Yep.
is anybody's guess. It could challenge the last low, where it could challenge the close of yesterday's trading session, which is around 18,945. But we'll just have to wait and see. I do expect it to roll over more before it really starts to make any kind of a big move to the upside.
Yeah. I know. What's it gonna do? Well, this is one of the fun things about the having like a morning stream, be a great name for a podcast, the morning
Yeah,
stream.
absolutely.
Is just because we're all just sort of waiting to see what's going on. I wouldn't long and I wouldn't short yet. I think we have to just wait for that initial velocity on market open to consolidate into an easy trade, and that's the thing. It could do this all day, but
Yeah, it could. I've got about 10 more minutes. I hate to be the one to cut it short, but I've
no,
got a
it's
lot of
fine.
stuff going on.
No, it's fine. I gotta actually cut this one a little bit short too, because I gotta head off to the office a little bit, be a little bit closer to on time today.
Yeah, you get into the habit of being late, and it just kind of gets worse.
Yeah,
I've been there.
so I gotta get there. So yeah, maybe I'd even we could even close the stream now, because as we can see what it's doing, it's kind of stepping down overall. Especially looking at the 30-minute, you can see the trend is down, and it needs to find itself, and it's a tough day. But I think definitely looking at that 30 and then looking at the 15, the 5, the 2, the 1 minute, definitely helps to see the big picture. So I think we're gonna that at least is my plan, is I'll be keeping an eye on it today and just waiting for that reversal. And you never know, like the reversal could only last, it could look really great and only last 30 seconds, but we can definitely be watchful. So yeah, let's close the stream, and we'll keep doing this. I'll probably see you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday again, and I
Yeah,
do need,
Tuesday is actually usually a really good day
okay.
for
So,
excuse me, for the NASDAQ.
yeah, so I'll get Tuesday scheduled for us. We are getting more formalized. It is good, and love to see some of the blockchain. I see John. Sorry about that, John. I was kind of didn't see you there. I have to keep an eye out for that, for people hopping on. But definitely, like to see some of the blockchain education people on, and whoever else is interested in this, because as we continue formalize it, get better, we'll all be getting in trades. There just isn't one yet, but we know what direction that we have a plan for the day, and
Yeah.
we'll be watchful. So this is good stuff. And next time I will show the book map, because it is incredible, especially on this big monitor that I have here. And we'll have some fun. So everybody, we'll end it here. Take care, Robert. I will see you Tuesday.
All right, Craig. Sounds great.
All right, take care.
Bye.